Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, August 6th, 2025. I just gotta clear the air with all these tabs and then get started on finishing this lawsuit I'm trying to file. I gotta get this out of the way because I keep losing information. So this is going to be long and it's going to be throwing spaghetti all over the wall. I'm going to try to have a common theme, and the common theme is the swamps trying to discredit me. Not even the swamps. I'm going to say it's off script gay Nazis. Off script. They're trying to make all these various scenarios where I am discredited somehow, or thrown back in jail somehow, or deemed mentally crazy. So yeah, that's the theme right now, and it's off script. People, they don't understand. Like, well, I'll get the lawsuit done, and then maybe we'll clear the air on this. I never thought much about the TMZ articles and stuff like that, saying I'm like Kelly Clarkson's stalker and I'm arrested and all this stuff, but it's gotten to be serious. I need to get that stuff removed. I haven't even paid attention to it, but it might have led to the murder of, eventually led these off-script gay Nazis to become emboldened enough to murder Robin Kaye, the American Idol executive. Like, they don't think they're being watched, or they might have felt emboldened by that, by the fact that I still left all this TMZ. There's a lot of defamation going on, and I haven't really bothered with it, and now I have to pay attention to it because it got serious, I think. So let's just do this real fast, and then I'll get started on the lawsuit stuff. I mean, not here, but once I file the lawsuit, I'm going to read the whole lawsuit here, so it'll explain more about what's going on. Well, let's do this real fast. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, August 6th, 2025. This is going to be really fast. I'm going to try to make this under 10 minutes. Boo security video. It's the pattern that I'm trying to show is that a lot of stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks is to try to discredit me. And this really incriminating video I made that linked the tobacco swamp and cigarette ads to mass shootings, to Adam Schiff, and also to a lot of the people in Vegas that were, hanging around Kelly Clarkson, these gay smoker guys, BM, what's his name? There's a couple of Bretts and everything like that. Who's that other Brett? Okay, anyway, so let's just do this chronologically, just real fast, and I'm just going to tell what I think may have happened and what's going on, and then crowdsourcing rules could step in, and if not, then that's fine. But my July 4th, Kelly postponed her. There was I thought there was probably a mass shooting threat or something going on, because and I thought that's why she postponed. It wasn't for her voice. That's what I believe happened, and I believe it was J.D. Palmatier and Mikey Russo and all these people, these tobacco swamp people from the past. And I put that on there. I said something like that on maybe Saturday, July 5th afterwards. And then these guys, the same people that I was saying that, were like laughing at this and going, yeah, right, this crazy girl. One of the videos I posted a long time ago anyway, I just said, anybody who calls me crazy, don't trust them. So don't trust them. They're saying crazy. So I looked into it some more, and I really attacked and tried to went straight for the jugular on this Mikey Russo. And I got the whole account suspended. And I think what suspended it was not actually me going into it was me posting this video directly to TMZ, Rolling Stone, and connecting it, the tobacco swamp, mass shootings, cigarette ads with Senator Adam Schiff. I mean, I did it in this video, but I don't think anybody really paid too much attention to it. The video is over a year old, and I think just maybe more people are paying attention, but it just seemed to strike home, and they completely torpedoed me over at Twitter, at X. So I think that it was, because I'm over the target on that one. That's what happened on that. So I didn't think much of it, or I did, and I posted immediately. In my defense, I came over to YouTube. So the last, I was suspended YouTube in January 2023, and then I was arrested after that. And I think, they suspended me. I thought that was a collaborative effort. They always suspend me, and then they do something, fire me, arrest me, something like that. And I think it's all kind of collaborative. And I'm trying to do a lawsuit on that. Let's just not go into that yet. I just want to get through this really fast. So I was glad to have YouTube back up. They put me back up in May after I put in another appeal. I put in an appeal every year, every other year, and they just put me up, and I didn't realize it until recently. But I was glad to have an outlet, and I immediately answered exactly what happened on my mass shooting in this video, posted on July 7th, right? And then I don't post anything else, but I think what happened was on July 7th, these guys off script, they don't realize that I've been doing this stuff for years, and they haven't even seen this video, and I don't think it was really funny to laugh at what I was trying to do. I'm like saying, just don't trust gay guys smoking cigarettes. So then they have this guy smoking a cigarette and laughing at this, and I said, this is not funny, and they just obviously haven't even seen the video, and that's very dangerous. Off script, gay Nazis are that way. So I think they looked me up, my name, and they found these TMZ articles saying, this is Kelly Clarkson's stalker. So what they did when they found that out was like, they were saying online, she should be in jail. She's crazy. She belongs back in jail. She's dangerous for us and for Kelly. And so what happened was, I believe they contacted, or they tried to. There was some more off-script people in LA at the time, and they're trying to get me rearrested, or I think the story out of LA is that I was found crazy, but then the mental health court let me off early when I should have been in jail for years and years, and now I'm dangerous. So I think the killing of American Idol. So this is July 7th. July 7th this happened, and then on July 9th, I'm still, here's the one. So July 10th, early in the morning, this one, it was, I'm posting this, and it was a screen recording. It was 4:30 in the morning before I go to work, and I call this guy, Brett. Oh, it's not Brett 7722. It's BMD 7722. He calls himself Brett, but I think it was BMD 7722. I said, there's no more F-bombs, but I called them a creep. I said it was really creepy. Don't let him anywhere near Kelly. And gay men, I did this on purpose, because gay men, if there's anything, if you want to set them off, you call them a creep. All right? And the reason I'm saying this now is because now Kelly sings creep as her karaoke. I think somebody's picking the karaoke's for her at this point. It's just weird. I mean, why would she pick creep after I call him a creep? I think it set him off. And later that afternoon is when I think it triggered something that eventually led the butterfly effect, but it eventually led to the murder of Robin Kaye in Encino, which is where Kelly used to have her house with Brandon. They're like 3 miles away from where this person was murdered. But there's a lot of crap going on in San Fernando Valley, and I'm trying to connect everything to that. So San Fernando Valley is where Adam Schiff has been representing various areas. He was, Congressional District 29, which is up north near Santa Clarita. It's still, Granada Hills, it's still the valley in that area. And then 30 is over here in Burbank, and 20. He represented 3 or 4 different congressional districts representing the entire San Fernando Valley. So Encino, that's the San Fernando Valley. This is valley stuff going on. And I think it was in direct, and I think the story was, I think they tried to make the story, or they were thinking that the story would be, okay, is to discredit me. because it's the guy who murdered the guy that they're saying murdered him did not murder him. There's the story here out of LA is so bad. Like, they keep changing the story, and you always have to look at the first gay person that you find, and the first gay person. So first of all, you have a lot of weird stuff going on. They called twice, and then they were supposedly murdered also on July 10th, which it could have been July 14th because their body was only found on July 14th. But who knows? There's all sorts of funny business. Police were called twice. The day before, they had a meeting with all the townspeople, with police saying, we're very afraid for home invasions. The day before, these guys were out of that meeting. And the day before, this guy, I thought he might have been gay. There was a guy named... We have to look at this article. I'm looking at all these articles, but it's this guy. According to Herzog. Chris Herzog. The Bodyguard Group. Now, he's not gay. If he were gay, but he's a non-gay dumbass moron, and he's coming in, he's criticizing the police. He told this person, Robin Kaye, like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that, you need to hire me because your cameras aren't good enough. And then she says no, and then she's murdered. It was just, it's not a coincidence, you guys. This is just really, this guy's involved. The gay guys around him are involved. The security person out of, anyway, it's just funny business going on. But I think the idea was behind this, we're going to have a person who was let out of the mental health court, like this guy was supposed to spend years and years in jail, and then the mental health court in LA let him out after 6 months, like me. That's not what happened. In my case, they kept me in they kept me in illegally. They didn't even, I didn't have any due process. I thought it was a fake restraining order. It was incredible how long. But the thing is, this Nicole needs to be rearrested because she's dangerous. You see what people, when they're let out after only 6 months, they go and they murder people. Was supposed to be the narrative, but it's backfiring like crazy. Because it was, these are what I call off script. When you're off script, you don't have the backing afterwards. You don't have the propaganda afterwards. You're going to get caught. And I think they're getting caught. That was supposed to be the story, they thought, but it's not working out. The gun, then you have to find the first gay person who's trying to run the narrative afterwards. And the first gay person I found, his name is Nathan Hochman. He's the new LA district attorney. He's gay, closeted gay, Jewish, redheaded, just like Adam Schiff. And he's coming out saying, I'm going to look at that. That guy shouldn't have let him out of jail at the mental health court. And he's also saying he wants the death penalty. What the hell? You think this guy really got elected on the death penalty when California can't stand the death penalty? And this guy, that's what he ran on. You really think he won that legitimately? You think he really got all those votes? It just sounds like, Adam Schiff got him in, and Trump let Adam Schiff get him in. I think Trump is on top of this stuff. Because during this time, I didn't realize it, because I didn't even know until way later that she had been killed. It didn't show up on my For You feed. Oh, God. Okay, so this murder was to discredit me. It was to discredit me, and it was to try to get me rearrested, and I should have not been let out. It was the story, and I shouldn't have been let out, and they should come and get me and take me away. And this person was murdered for this, just for this story, and it's not working out. And Nathan Hochman is a part of this in some way, because it comes out and he says, oh, they used their own gun. The guy used his own gun. If you just look through this story, it's so bad, and they keep changing the story. But then, other stories say a video surveillance sees the guy jumping over the fence with a gun in his hand. But now they're saying, oh no, his fingerprints are all over this gun, and then he called, and he's this and that. That guy did not murder him. They're just using him. He's a patsy. Okay? He's a patsy, and they're trying to, discredit me by these stories, and it's just not happening. They're just getting caught. I hope they're getting caught, because these people are just crazy. But it's too bad. It's too bad that I told you the off-script people were very dangerous, and it's because they didn't. I mean, these people are dead now, and if these people, because they think they're not going to get caught, and they're getting caught all over the place, and that's too bad. They will get caught, I believe, or they are in the process of getting caught, and everything's blowing up. But 2 people are dead because of it, and that's sad. And I think this might have been avoided if I had gone sooner and purposely sued for defamation to get all those articles about me being crazy and being Kelly Clarkson's stalker. I've just been ignoring them. And if I did something about that sooner, this probably wouldn't have happened, because it emboldened these people to use that as leverage against me. The people that I was attacking about this BMD, these Brett people, the tobacco swamp that I was attacking, that got my account taken down. It wasn't them who did that, by the way. It was somebody higher up, and it was somebody having to do with this stuff. So that happened, okay, and then so I'm going to play the previous video. It's an hour long. I stopped it because the stabbing, there was a Walmart stabbing, and I think that there was a stabbing on the 26th. There was a shooting in Reno a little bit after that, and then there was a shooting in New York City, and they're all related to the San Fernando Valley. They're all weird kind of failed swamp attempts at stuff, and they were all trying to, at least this guy, like, look at the stabbing. Okay, so they can't do a shooting anymore, but they're gonna do a stabbing, and the guy who stabbed is the story behind this one is anybody who rants about Walmart and their tobacco ads. Now you saw my video. It's about Walmart and their cigarette ads. And anybody who rants about that is crazy, and they should be in a mental hospital. Okay, and they're violent and crazy. That's the story is I'm violent and I should be in jail because I'm violent and I'm going to harm Kelly, right? Okay, and so watch what happens with this guy. Then there was a Walmart stabbing, which I almost predicted because I said at the same time I was saying, okay, we're out of the tobacco swamp is out of money. I'm not getting the vibe for the shootings. There's going to be a stabbing somewhere, and I didn't say it. This guy stabs, and I find out. I'm about ready to say it, and I found out it already happened at a Walmart. So, but the interesting thing about this guy, the bystander. Now watch this. The interesting thing about this guy.
This is how Vision MD was born. I'm Dr. Zhu. I'm a Harvard-trained eye doctor and surgeon. I've led clinical research studies on some of the latest advancements in eye care.
All right, welcome back to Lions Now from
I don't know if that's still in effect or not, but he likely did it no longer under an order. I don't know that for sure. Sure, everyone else has it available other than the defense. The statement in the praxis, 6.106, the court's not required to essentially it's required for the court to set A and 1B met with treason, murder, felony, and at the time, violent felony, nor is this he would ask the court to set an appropriate. Thank you.
So the court is very concerned about the allegations in this complaint.
Okay, so listen to what this guy says. This is the stabber.
Accusations from an individual that's been before this court in 30-some years.
Listen.
You know the tobacco. Y'all like have the tobacco company, and you're selling cigarettes with fiberglass and chemicals in them just to kill off the population. You know, and you can't really accuse me of anything if you're doing that. You know, so.
Okay,
so did you hear that? This guy is saying, I have a right to go in and stab everybody because Walmart is selling cigarettes. Okay, that's to discredit me and this video right here. All right? That whole stabbing was done for that purpose. Because look at this person having a fit about cigarette ads. She belongs in jail too, because she's going to run out. She's very dangerous. That was 100%. You know, the world doesn't revolve around me, people. So that's that. That was, I mean, okay, so now we got the swamps stabbing people and to discredit me. Okay, so this happened chronologically this way. I didn't realize the shooting of Robin Kaye until way later, but now in hindsight, that was to discredit me, get her back in jail. You shouldn't have been let out from the LA County Mental Health Court. It's actually the mental health court that let the murderer of Robin Kaye, the supposed murderer, the same judge who let him out is the one who had my case, even though he didn't. I think he let me out. I don't know what happened in my case. I think the district attorney finally gave up on it. I have no charges. I have no paperwork. I know there's no charges against me because, you know, I work at Walmart, and okay, they had a huge background check on me, and there's nothing there. So anyway, this is all for me, that one. Okay, then what happened?
I would never buy cans online. I have my son buy it for me.
I'm not
Are you
sure.
getting your computer fixed?
What is a...
I'm not sure this was.
Hello, I'm Joe Hart.
And I'm Andrea Sparsa.
Welcome to this.
So now we have Dakota Haver. This guy did a shooting in Reno that I didn't know about either until way later, so it's not Tobacco Swamp. But he had just before he did the shooting, he had family court do wage garnishment on him. So this is to discredit me. Anybody who complains about wage garnishment in the family court is going to shoot people as well. He shot 3 people, like 3 days after he had a family court thing with the wage garnishment. Okay, during a hearing last week, it raised his monthly child support from $103 to $582 a month. Now, yeah, that happens a lot where people really do shoot people. Like that's the whole. I mean, most if you go look at mass shootings and you go and you see what really happens is it doesn't count as a mass shooting if it's domestic violence. Yet they're trying to count it as mass shootings. But you look at it, and most of the shootings of kids is domestic violence after, because it's usually after some kind of a court hearing in the family court. So there you go. And I've been working on that, and I predicted that in my, I just got booted for trying to record protected content. There was a video of one of the survivors, but I wanted to show you, but he's gay. So, and this is his uncle.
Direction, which would have no doubt, with Matt's injuries, Matt would have died in the parking lot.
So this is all stupid. This guy's gay. This was all rigged. So this guy's gay. You always watch the first people to speak after a mass shooting are usually gay men, and they're the ones involved in the shooting. So this guy's involved. The survivor's involved. That Matt is gay and he survived. He's involved. This guy's involved. He's his uncle supposedly, and then also the people who died.
Support your family with fast money transfers to Haiti. Download today.
We're learning new information about the victims in that deadly casino shooting in Reno.
Okay, so he's from Reno. This guy, I think he's gay. I couldn't find a video of him. I think this guy's gay. So the 2 guys who were shot, I don't know if he's gay. I don't know he's older. This guy was at the bachelor party gay. This guy was at the bachelor party gay. The other guy at the bachelor party gay. They're all from San Fernando Valley, Adam Schiff's district. Okay, another connection. And as I said, the supposed shooter who was killed, I don't think he died. I think he's probably gay too, but he did have
This online exclusive with new information in a Monday.
That guy's
Announced
gay.
dead. And now Zoe left once she found William says that she was with Hobner nearly left once she found out she was the reason his behavior.
There he is. So this guy, I thought he looked Hispanic here, but that's the shooter. I think he's still alive. I think he's just trying to get out of doing child support. I don't know what. Maybe he died. You just can't believe anything when this is this kind of bullshit. But he's from Reno, but killing all these gay guys from San Fernando Valley, who knows? It just seems kind of fake, and you can't. To me, I don't know who the shooter was. I don't know who actually died or who faked their death. I don't know any of this shit, but I know that the guys who are talking were gay, and they're probably involved in the shooting. And they're trying to make it out like if you rant against child support, you're going to start shooting people. That's Nicole. So you rant against the tobacco selling at Walmart, you're going to start shooting people. You rant against the family court and the child support, you're going to start shooting people. I'm very dangerous. You notice that? Also, if you were let out, if they let you out of the mental health court in LA when you should have been in for years and years, I shouldn't have been in for 5 seconds, you're very dangerous. So this is incidents happening over the last couple weeks. And the third one was the New York shooting. So this guy.
How'd you guys come through? We definitely had to stay disciplined. We were down 10-0. We definitely had to stay disciplined.
Gay. The shooter in New York City, who was slated to be the shooter, he wasn't the shooter either. Shane Devon, gay. Guess where he's from? Guess where he grew up? Granada Hills, San Fernando Valley. Okay? Now, he ended up in Vegas at some point, and also mental health. So they're trying to say, well, this guy went through the mental health court, and he was still allowed a gun. So there's, again, Nicole could get a gun even though she's been through mental health court. Nicole, he's from the San Fernando Valley. He's half Asian. But anyway, I already went through on the other video. I'm just going to put all this up, you guys. I'm just going to put it all. It's going to be hours and hours. I don't care. I was going to not put the other video up, but I already explained some stuff in the other video that's not here. Okay. And then also just another connection. This guy worked at the Horseshoe, and the Horseshoe is owned by Caesar's Palace, Caesar's Entertainment, the same people who are running Kelly's show. So there's a connection with Vegas there. It actually comes from Vegas. There's another Vegas connection. But all these incidents, the one thing they have in common is they seem to be predicates, or they seem to be laying a story on each of these things where anybody who behaves this way is dangerous. You need to put me back in jail. And they don't understand that this, like, So I put out these videos that are like, I've been doing this a long time, dipshits. I am, whatever, but I'm not, they're pretending like I came out of nowhere, and they're pretending like Brandon Buttfuck Blackstock didn't call me a bitch online in like 2013 on my Twitter account and erase it when I was getting him for tobacco shit. I mean, I've been attacking him for being a tobacco swamp person a long time ago. It's not like he doesn't know who I am. Okay, the way the security guards that he hired were pretending for like, I'm just saying, there are people clueless off script. They don't realize that their stories are not getting away with a lot of people in the know, but they're just going to keep going. They're going to do this shit, and okay. I don't know, guys. I'm just putting it out there. This is crowdsourcing rules. I got to get started on this lawsuit. I mean, I'm started, but it's just that's it. So, Boo Security. I put a bunch of stuff out there. Find out where all the off-script people are, and also Brett BMD something, BMD 7722 or 2277, Brett somebody. He just showed up on my For You feed as as he's already heading to Las Vegas or something like that right now. So I don't think they could do anything. I think there isn't much, but I mean, if you guys are, and also, what is the deal with that? Like, what is the deal with doing creep? I thought that was funny because I'm not, like, the creep is just, it was just a weird thing. Like, somebody told her to do that because it was supposed to be aimed at me or something. And because I'm the one who triggered it when I first started doing the creep. And a lot of the first post things were, anyway, yes, I am, I would admit, the song is weird too. It's like somebody's insecure. But it's weird because they think that one person is supposed to be special and then the other person is supposed to be a creep or, what was the other one? A weirdo? Anyway, I'm a special weirdo. I'm both of those things. I mean, the song doesn't apply to either of us. So I think she just likes the rock and roll thing. But I just did the connection recently. I didn't think much of it. I was going to apply online and say, or reply online and say, hey, I'm special and I'm a weirdo. I'm a special weirdo. But yeah, I always feel funny when she does that song. It's like, what? It doesn't apply to anybody. But I think she just likes the music. So there is a connection there with me calling this guy a creep. And then all the first stories out of the Post, the New York Post, all the first stories about Robin Kaye kept calling the shooter who shot her a creep, a creep, a creep. Like it was every other thing. And I'm going, what the frig? Like what? They stopped doing that after a while, but it's just like, it just felt like anybody who's let out of the mental health court is a creep. Right? All right. I wasn't in the mental. They never had jurisdiction. That was the argument. I just said, you don't have jurisdiction. You don't have jurisdiction. They never had jurisdiction technically over my case as a lawyer, you guys, because in order to be in the mental health court, you have to be evaluated by a mental health professional, and I was never evaluated. My own public defender just said, she is, in my opinion, incompetent, and we need to evaluate her, and we need to do a long-form evaluation that's going to take a month to do. So they were like, okay, I'll wait in jail for a month, and they never sent anybody for 3 months to evaluate me. They just left me there. And I'm like writing everybody, this is my own public defender. So, and then finally, I think the judge comes and talks to me, and the public defender, and he goes, oh, well, we're here to do whatever, and I said, wait, are you the judge? And because he didn't have a mask on, and are you my public defender? Because she didn't have her mask on, I didn't recognize him. And I said, hey, did you get my letter? And he goes, what letter? And I said, well, I sent one 2 weeks ago, and I sent it to everybody else, and blah, blah, blah. No, you were, and it was just funny. The public defender just very quickly shut off the video, but there's a video of me saying, you didn't follow protocol, I was never evaluated, you don't have jurisdiction, I want you to send the case back to Van Nuys, and so that I can get a trial on the facts. And then they shut it off, and then I don't get out for another 2 or 3 months. Like, they just ignore me again. Like, what the fuck? So they never had jurisdiction technically, and I don't know who let me out or what happened. I never saw a judge after that. They just came to me one day and said, okay, you're leaving. I said, what the hell? I said, what? There's no adjudication? Did I see a judge? Do I have any kind of restraining order? Can I get the fucking restraining order copy that I've been asking for 3 months? They didn't give me the that's the whole reason I was arrested. Okay, that's it. I'm just saying, everybody knows that story who's following this, but these people go off script and they think that whatever TMZ says is what happened, and then they kill people and they shoot people and they try to get these narratives going. The narratives are not going anywhere because the narratives, are not, they're off script. They don't have enough money to cover the narratives. They're failing all over the place, but people are dying too, or getting hurt, or whatever it is. Now it's not massive anymore, but it's still a concern, and I especially don't want, anything to happen to, anybody, but my boo and some WNBA people and any of my muses. Okay, bye. Bye. I'm gonna just post this and get moving. Bye. So here's my You Get Nicole Young Nate Pelletier YouTube account for background information. There's this Nicole reads her YouTube comment on Russell Brand's video. This is why they censored Trump. I since put all 4 of these videos into one video called History of the World. There's a couple of History of the Worlds, but this explains the swamp. It's a good background for my language. I use a whole new lingo. I use gay Nazis. I use swamp, the various swamps, tobacco swamp, pharmaceutical swamp, 2 halves of the defense contractor swamp, and the religion swamp, and now there's the family court swamp. There's and how they all imploded, and how I have stocks that represent them. So that's that. And then also recently, if you want to come here to my I also have a description about what I think about gays and why I say gay Nazi. It's to distinguish them from gays who aren't Nazis. It's a very small minority of gays, and the history of how I think they've been responsible for all of slavery, wars, holocausts. So when I just say, gay Nazis from the tobacco swamp, it's a certain language I've been using for years now, it feels like, and don't want to leave people too far behind. If they want to find out what I mean by all this stuff, it's all up at YouTube right now. So there's a history of the world that's different from the one I just talked about. It's a pretty good video. The 16th Amendment must fall first. That's the most important thing. But then I have all these, there's the tobacco swamp. I've been exposing them for years. There's the pharmaceutical swamp. I've been exposing them for a long time. I mean, I sued, 30 years ago, I sued a pharmaceutical company and exposed a lot of stuff. Exposing the defense contractor swamp. This is about 9/11. I've been working on that stuff for a long time. Exposing the religion swamp is, I don't know what video that is, but it's like my most recent videos about the Bible work I've been doing. And then exposing the family court swamp, which is the last swamp that's going to fall. That's my rights for families. And then all these lawsuits I've filed. There's the Supreme Court certiorari is how you pronounce that, and it's on parental rights. I think these are all brilliant lawsuits. This was 2 weeks before I submitted this 2 weeks before I began law school, and I'm very impressed by it. Reading it with somebody who didn't go to law school, it's amazing work. I believe I tried as best I could as a pro se. Young versus Twitter, I thought was brilliant. I'm going to be basing, I'm still going to be basing a lot of the same theory that Twitter was being paid to cancel me. It wasn't anything like I was, So anyway, okay. Probate slime. Young versus Kamala Harris was the 55 mile an hour. Anyway, face masks. Oh, there's the truck one. Kamala Harris was Kenko. That was the driver-facing cameras. That was privacy stuff. I thought they were all brilliant lawsuits. If you're interested in some of my past stuff. So that's that. And just rambling. I'm just showing people if they want to catch up. The reason I say I'm showing people is because I have a feeling my daughter and her friends are now looking at this or just I don't know. That's why I've got to be a little bit less crazy, guys, and stop the F-bombs and stuff. But it's not crazy. It's just the way I do stuff. So let's just go. When I do the stocks, I try to associate stocks to the various swamps. Let's just look at the Dow every day. Not every day, but sometimes I'll come every day and I'll look at the Dow. And when I do my swamp stock tutorial stuff, a lot of times I'm looking at happy Wednesday, August 6th, 2025. I'm just going to try to, I know I'm not going to have time to do a boost security video before the next show Kelly does in in Vegas on Friday, so I'm just doing it now because I'm trying to file some lawsuits right now, and after this I've just you're not going to hear from me probably for a while. So this is boost security video for today. Just really briefly, I want to, the theme of today is the world does indeed revolve around me. I always say that like jokingly, but I think there's a lot of attempts by what I call off-script gay Nazis, meaning they just don't realize that they're making mistakes trying to do stuff like this. They're trying to discredit me. They're trying to get me arrested again. They're trying to do all this stuff, and it's just backfiring, I think. I hope it is. Except, I think some of it, I'd say that they're most dangerous because they don't think they're watched or they're getting caught. So they'll do stuff like, I believe trying to discredit me ended up having Robin Kaye, the American Idol executive, murdered, and some weird scheme to discredit me and pretend like I shouldn't have been let out of the mental health court. I think the story they got was that I was stalking Kelly, and then I was found to be mentally incompetent, and I only served 6 months, even though I was so dangerous I never should have been let out. So, I was let out of the mental health court when I should have been in jail for years, according to these off-script gay Nazis or something. I don't know what's going on. And then, so in an attempt to discredit me, they have this murder, and then they're pinning the murder on somebody who was let out of the mental health court after only 6 months. Despite having a history, he should have been in jail for years, but the mental health court let him out, and look what happens. He murdered somebody. So I should be back in jail before I murder somebody. It's all blowing up in their face right now, but it's too late. We have 2 dead people. Okay, so this is why I say the off-script gay Nazis are very dangerous, because because they don't know they're going to be caught. So they'll do all this stuff and then they'll get caught, but that doesn't help the 2 dead people. All right, so I'm going to go through and show a pattern of this. But the pattern began, I was just thinking about this recently, the pattern began while I was in jail. TMZ's just trying to discredit me the whole time, and I should stay in jail and all this stuff over the fake restraining order. I'm going to go over all that with the lawsuit later. When I file the lawsuits, I'm going to read the whole thing here. There's going to be no privacy or no whatever it is. I don't care. Confidentiality. Everything is all out in the open. I'm going to read the whole thing, and I'm going to go over that later. But for now, while I was in jail, they're trying, in an attempt to discredit me, or in an attempt to keep me in jail because I'm dangerous, supposedly, the same people behind all this stuff, the same off-script gay Nazis caused, I believe, it was a religion, and it was tobacco swamp with a religion swamp mass shooting at a Christian school in Nashville. And it's tobacco swamp because it's a shooting, but it's a religion swamp because it was a Christian school. But it was an odd thing. I remember reading about it thinking, this is for me. This is not, it was done on to try to keep me in jail at the time. It was like March, and they were trying, and I shouldn't have been in jail for even 3 hours. I shouldn't have even been arrested, and they just try to keep prolonging my jail time so what they're trying to do is tell judges, tell everybody that I'm very dangerous. And the mass shooter was, for the first time ever, a female. There's never been really a female mass shooting at any time. So I believe the argument was they carried out this mass shooting just on my behalf, just to be able to go tell a judge, oh, look at this lesbian. And the lesbian shot up this school in Nashville, and lesbians can be very dangerous too. You need to keep this lesbian in jail longer. Like it smacked of that shit. And it smacked of coming out of Starstruck Entertainment based in Nashville, because they're religion swamp and they're tobacco swamp at the same time. Like Brandon's religion and tobacco swamp. And that was a religion tobacco swamp shooting based in Nashville, and they pretended it was a lesbian who did it. Of course, that's the narrative afterwards, but that wasn't a lesbian who did that. You know, they just picked that as the narrative. And that was all done on my behalf. And I thought that, and I wrote a little bit about that, but, you know, in jail, I think I wrote that down somewhere. But, and you would think you sound crazy saying this, but if you keep saying it over and over, and then the pattern starts to establish itself. So this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but people who know me, once I keep just saying it over and over, no matter how crazy it sounds, you start to pick up a pattern. And it, you know, that's when I say the world does revolve around me. And I tease about it, but it's looking like a whole slew of things happening over the last couple of weeks appear to be off-script gay Nazis trying to discredit me in some way or another. And I'm just going to try to make up the story of what's going on right now. I'm going to throw spaghetti against the wall for my crowdsourcing rule peeps. And then there'll be... so here we go. So we're going to go chronologically. Even though I didn't discover some of this stuff, like the Robin Kaye murder, I didn't discover until way later, which means it wasn't tobacco swamp at all. Because tobacco swamp stuff and propaganda, that shows up on my For You feed. None of that stuff showed up on my For You feed. I accidentally, when I went to Yahoo, my Yahoo Mail, it was on the Yahoo News like 2 weeks after the murder. What? American Idol exec murdered in Encino, where Kelly had her original house with Brandon. You know, Kelly's house in LA with Brandon was just 3 miles from these guys in Encino. Okay, and that's where he hired the lying security guard. Okay, Brandon and Starstruck Entertainment, while they were managing Kelly, hired the home security guard. Like in 2017, these guys, the lying ones who were still working for Kelly after the divorce, which I thought was very dangerous, okay, because they were answering to Brandon. I already had a whole video on this, and it was taken down, and it's just, okay, we're not going to go over that right now, but I'm just saying, these loose connections, they just keep adding up more and more, and I know it sounds crazy and all this stuff, and I don't even care. You know, because one of the first things I said in that one video I posted that said how celebs can protect themselves better is show my videos, show my writings, show my work, and then anybody who calls me crazy, don't trust them. Okay, so I've already been through all this. All that stuff's posted if you're interested. But anyway, this stuff wasn't tobacco swamp, but let's just go through this. This was the last thing I posted, and they're claiming, Twitter's claiming, who's smelly butthole at Atlantic Records? Did you stick your dick up? All this like swearing and stuff. They're claiming this got me completely suspended off of Twitter when it was really this post. And that was connecting Mikey Russo, the Mikey Russo tobacco guy, with Adam Schiff, Senator Adam Schiff, Religion Swamp and Tobacco Swamp. I have a whole video on this, but it was, and then CCing People, Variety, Rolling Stone, it was TMZ right there. That's what got me completely suspended. Okay? I wanted to read this too, just really fast while it's here. This was my pinned tweet from March. I thought that a lot of the tobacco swamps and all this stuff were already imploded, and there wasn't going to be any more mass shootings, and there really hasn't been. There's been little failed attempts everywhere, and I didn't think the pharmaceutical swamp could have another. Everybody was ignoring all their attempts for another fake pandemic. Tobacco swamp, and pharmaceutical swamp, defense contractor swamp, like a major airline or a major flood or hurricane, all this stuff, it seems like they're all out the window. The only thing left would be religion swamp is left, and then the family court swamp, and these kind of little things, pharmaceutical. Anyway, so I'm taking a pivot. We are coming for the two most powerful swamps left, the religion and family court swamps. and we are coming for the sick, gay Nazi-created genital mutilation practice of circumcision as the last hill to die on. I hope not literally in this war to end all wars. Okay, so the reason I'm mentioning this is because I think there was the shooting in New York City where the two victims, I learned the two female victims were Jewish women, and they were young Jewish women, and I just wanted my crowdsourcing rules people to look into that and see if these two younger Jewish women were kind of maybe progressive, meaning they're Jewish but they were against circumcising kids, circumcising babies, Jewish people, like that whole practice. And if they were, that could be a commonality. They could be it's just a direct attack on the family court. The family court swamp pushes spankings of black women to spank their kids, and they push Jewish women to have their to mutilate genitally mutilate their sons. So they work through the mothers to affect the mother-son bond, and this is all coming to a head. Corporal punishment of kids is going to go out the window. It's going to help the whole black community, and also circumcising young kids is going to go out the window soon. And this stuff is really affecting the gay Nazis, because this stuff's been going on for 11,000 years to control the family, break up the family, and so anyway, the reason why I wanted to mention that is look into the two Jewish women who were murdered. They were targeted possibly because they were outspoken against circumcising against Jews circumcising boys, that whole practice. So there might be a connection there. I told you I'm throwing spaghetti on the wall, but I had these connections weeks ago, and I just need to get everything out right now, so later when I look back on this, maybe I could, this is for me as much as everybody else. So I wanted to go over this started. So July 4th, Kelly postpones her concert, and I had bad vibes ahead of time, but I didn't say anything about it because I didn't think she could cancel. I didn't want her to worry. But she canceled, and then afterwards I said, oh my God, I'm so relieved, because you have these people showing up, blasts from the past, J.D. Palmetier, and these people were like tobacco swamp. And sorry, it's my battery. I'm not stopping this video, guys. I don't even care. It's going to go for an hour, but I need to get this out because I'm losing information and I'm forgetting where I'm getting information. Okay? And this is boost security, so yeah. So I felt bad about it, and then after the fact I put this stuff up, and then these guys started teasing me online, so I dug deeper and I found the Mikey Russo, A Blast from the Past, Tobacco Swamp people, and I just blew it up with this on July 7th after the weekend. I just blew it all up and attacked Mikey Russo online a little bit. So here's my YouTube. Nicole reads her YouTube comments on the fake restraining order. Just before that, I have a time to bring class action against Google, YouTube, Pfizer, TMZ for fraud under RICO. That's what I'm doing now. But this was a video that was published on January 16th, and then I published this one, and then YouTube didn't even cancel a video or anything. They just said we're taking your whole account down. My account had been up for over 10 years, and they took it all down. And then I was arrested after that. It's just like, target me online. It's another pattern is target me online, cancel what I'm saying when I'm speaking the truth, which I was here, and then I'm vulnerable to that kind of attack, arrest, and this kind of stuff. Arrest, being fired, anything like that, all sorts of weird stuff, and they could also attack me. It's just a very common pattern, and this is what happened here, and I'm going to point this out in the RICO is this pattern has nothing to do with terms of service. It has nothing to do with anything. They're being paid to, discredit me. and that's fraud. But anyway, so after my Twitter account was Twitter X account was suspended and taken down completely, I came here and I just published The Greatest Fan of My Life. It was kind of just shows the history of what went on with Kelly and what I'm trying to do, and it's mostly against the family court stuff, and it goes way back, and it also goes way back to me fighting the pharmaceutical swamp starting in 1994. So, this thing where I'm like, I just showed up and all of a sudden started talking crazy when I have a huge history of fighting these swamps, right? I mean, what did I like? Oh, I just put this up recently, you guys, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's just going to go for an hour. You guys just kind of listen. But the pattern is important. I want to get the pattern done. But this might help on the pattern. This might help if you go to my channel. Of course, I just want to show what I recently put up, which is... Hello, everybody. Happy... That's a pretty good... But, I explain why the gays versus gay Nazis versus whatever. But here I have, going back to... I exposed, for instance, exposing the tobacco swamp. This is like a website... And I've been doing that for over 10 years. The pharmaceutical swamp, that one is 30 years I've been attacking the pharmaceutical swamp. The defense contractor swamp, that's my 9/11 work and other stuff like that. That's over a decade old. The religion swamp is the Bible work that's very recent, and I haven't even posted that yet to YouTube, but I might, I'm not even afraid of being canceled anymore either, because I'm suing them anyway, so it's just more evidence. And then the family court swamp, my rights for families, that's over 2 decades, whatever, since the first time I was falsely arrested by Kamala Harris in 2006. I guess that's 20 years now. I've had a lot of, it's a big long history of fighting these various swamps and all these lawsuits I've filed. This was the parental, that's against the family court swamp. Twitter would be probably tobacco swamp. The probe was Kamala Harris was. Anyway, I have a lot of interesting lawsuits. They're all brilliant, and it's not like I just showed up and then now I'm starting to. So I have a very long history of being what do you call that? Citizen journalist, I guess. It's like my hobby, but yeah. Anyway, I just recently put all that stuff up, and we're back to here. So July 7th. I go over some of that history, and I think it's very, I don't know, I like that video. That's why I put it up first. This is the first thing I put up. It's got a lot of views too. So it's kind of making the swamps panic a little bit, because it goes against their narrative about me being some unknown or being crazy or whatever it is. I don't know what they're thinking. It's all my lawsuits are very logical. They're brilliant. Everything I'm doing is trying to go to world peace. I always fight for boost security for a long time. I've been fighting these swamps. I'm constantly arrested, lived in my car for 4 years just to be able to do this stuff. Whatever. Oh, come here, cat. Okay, so anyway, I think this is, it's fine at YouTube. It just seems like there's a different audience, because I'm putting up videos that were up forever at Twitter and nobody watched them, and now 1 or 2 people watch them. It appears YouTube, I should have been here a long time ago, because even though it's only 4 or 5 views on some of these videos, they seem to be having a huge impact, So I'm fine. Twitter could go suck itself. I'm okay here over at YouTube. So on July 7th, the first thing I did was update on the failed mass shooting attempt at Kelly Clarkson's concert. I believe it was postponed because there were threats of a mass shooting. And when I did this video, the thing that got me canceled is what I'm saying is this one video I made a long time ago, or last year, where I connect the tobacco swamp to mass shootings, and I also link it all up to various very powerful political people like Representative Adam Schiff, who's, his congressional district was where I was arrested. He's in the Valley, San Fernando Valley, Burbank area. And before that, it's all the Valley. He's been a representative in the House of Representatives since 2001, and he started in a district that was up near like Granada Hills and Santa Clarita, and then that whole San Fernando Valley, he's represented them at some point. He changed districts from 29 to 30 to 31 or something like that. I mean, he's been all over the Valley at one point or another the last 20 years, and now he's senator of all of California. So, I'm linking mass shootings with tobacco, with the San Fernando Valley, okay, in this one video, and it's very incriminating, I thought. And also Walmart, okay, Walmart playing tobacco ads, and why Walmart has more mass shootings than anybody, than any other store, because of their connection. So this is what got me canceled, even though it was Mikey Russo, even though it was like a really, lots of swear words, and they could be considered hate speech and all this stupidity, even though I talk like that all the time, and these other things. But that one, they were trying to pretend like that's what got me canceled, but it was this right here. It was connecting the Mikey Russo and the cancellation of the show in Vegas, which is where if you see that, I've talked about Jason Aldean in Vegas. So let me show you something too. Okay, so I want to let's do this real fast. Okay. So a lot of swamp stocks. Marlboro is the stock that I use to track what I call the tobacco swamp, because it's Marlboro. It's gonna go forever. I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. We need to really get this stuff out. All right. So typically I'll do I'll draw these support lines like this, and everything that goes way above the support line like this is government, swampy corruption, I don't know, subsidies from the government, something like that. And we're going to put money, the Congress will say, we're going to take all this taxpayer money and we're going to put it into this thing. And it doesn't go to that thing. It goes to buying like this, what I call a tobacco swamp stock, and then all sorts of stock manipulation so that the money ends up back in the congressperson's pocket through stock manipulations, options trading, whatever it is. So this is what I call a controlled implosion. When the stock goes up, they know it's going to go up. The options trading really leverages it. You could use, I took like, what was it, $500 over this stuff right here. And I made like $15,000 in like a month just predicting right here. I did this in like, what was it, 2017? I mean, I lost it all because if you're going to do this stuff, first of all, it's boring. You have to watch, but you can't have another job, and you're limited. The house always wins. You can't win too much without getting stung. They won't let you win that much. But you could leverage so much money you can make a lot of money with just a little bit of money if you know exactly when the stock is going to go up by a lot or go down. So money, all the money that our taxpayers went into the subsidized whatever it is, it went boop, 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 all into. But there's a real company there with real products, and that's what the company should be doing without the government intervention and subsidies and things like that and swamp stuff. So this is just money right here, this whole peak. But you notice right here is when Trump came in, right here. This is all Marlboro Obama. He's giving money to them, and he promised to make marijuana legalized, and they never did until now. He was put in place to make sure marijuana wasn't legalized, all this stuff. But right here in 2017, Trump takes office, and then that's it. Boom, boom, boom. And right here, like they said, okay, retaliation time. The gay Nazis did not like Trump. Like he was not Obama. They didn't do everything. Trump didn't do everything they ordered him to do. They're control freaks. And when that happens, they're going to have retaliation. Well, guess what happened in retaliation? Trump comes in January 2017, October 2017. Tobacco Swamp, Jason Aldean, Las Vegas shooting. Okay, that was in retaliation for Trump imploding this stuff. And then since then, they're starting to get a little bit of money, and I'm not sure where this is coming from. It looked like religion swamp stuff. Was it October 2023? If any stock starts to go sharply up in October of 2023, that's religion swamp money from the war in Gaza that started then for the very reason. Oh, we're sending $60 billion to the war in Gaza. Same thing. Most of that goes into buying stock. Okay? It doesn't go to anything in Gaza. It doesn't go in anywhere. It just eventually funnels into buying stock, and then once the stock is way above where it should be, it starts to tank, and and they can make money out of it, going up and down and all this stuff. It's just all stock manipulations. Okay, so the thing I wanted to show you is Trump comes in, he goes against the gay Nazis, retaliation. That's that disaster. Okay, and it's the same with all of the stocks like that. Okay, let's do Pfizer. So they were the first to implode. I thought the tobacco swamp. There could be some stuff going on now, but not really. I think they're just they're not going to go very far up like that ever again, because he's draining the swamps, and you could see it on these swamp stocks. So Pfizer is still dumping right now. They're still going down. But here we had remember Bill Clinton and we're going to have universal health care. So they got a lot of, it's pharmaceutical swamp. Very swampy, boy. I'm glad I don't know, Eli Lilly. Oh, a lot of the pharmaceuticals went down. I think that's just selling off. Okay, so here's the same thing. So this is a real company. Like, it's not like Pfizer is not a real company. They do have some product. And without the government subsidies and corruption and all that, everything here, that's our taxpayer money right here. Okay, that went into buying this stock, and here too. Okay, and this is what the company would be, and a real company will go like this. It won't go this high. That's just stupid. And then here they're selling, and then something happens. But all this money was the universal health care, and then of course Obamacare and all sorts of garbage. And then here's Trump. Trump comes in. Now he's coming in 2017. He's trying to drain the swamp. But then in late 2019, in addition to me trying to I had the Great Dred Scott fraud stuff come out, and this was part of that. But boom, look at this. Boom, boom, boom. This was heading down here. He was really draining that swamp. But look what happens. Now, the mass shooting, it was Jason Aldean, all that stuff. Look what happened. The fake pandemic Holocaust comes to save this stock. All right. It didn't save it's just retaliation. But in this case, unlike the mass shooting where they thought they would get money and be able to, part of the problem is they want to take away the Second Amendment and take away everybody's guns, and they could really take over total fascism. That's the first thing Hitler did. You need to get rid of all the guns. That's why the Jews had to just go when they went into the concentration camps. They had no guns. There was no protection or anything. So that's total gay Nazi stuff going on. But they weren't able to get money like this the way the pharmaceutical swamp. And then of course, boom, it's going to come back down. So I suspect Pfizer's actually going to start to go up, or maybe they just go bankrupt if they start to fall below this. I don't know, but that's very swampy. So that's the pharmaceutical swamp, the second one to implode. And then I used what was the other one? So the defense contractor swamp would be Boeing. I'm going to do Boeing. So this is something that happened in let's just go over here. Let's just draw a little support line, and you can see what's going on here. So let's do Boeing. It's looking good starting here, maybe. So once again, we have this is the real company following this line. That's a real company. And then this is just swamp, defense contractor swamp shit. And it was the same over here. It was like that, and then 9/11. I mean, Boeing. So, but what happens here is, okay, this was when Trump was in too. Like, remember $2 billion defense, and he went into the defense stuff, and then when the fake pandemic Holocaust hit, Boeing just tanked. But since then, it hasn't gone up quite that high. Like, right here, you get what Ukraine is defense contractor swamp. There's a war. Ukraine war is defense contractor swamp money. But it's not quite going up as high as here. So I think it's draining. I think here, like right around here, I said, you know what? I think Boeing is starting to become legit. It's no longer a swamp stock anymore. And also I think Trump is helping to like purge the gay Nazis, as I call it, because that's what it's looking like right now. It's looking like it's purging, and as a result, the Boeing isn't doing what the gay Nazis wanted to do. They're actually purging them. So all of a sudden you get all this sabotage. Okay, so all these Boeing jets, like right around here, I said, I think it's going legit. And then there's all these jets, and I was predicting there isn't going to be a plane crash because that requires a huge amount of money and, gay Nazis in high positions. And I don't think there's going to be any more plane crashes. I don't think there's going to be any more mass shootings. I don't think there's going to be any more major plane crashes in the U.S. Now, when I say major, I'm talking a big airline. The smaller ones, like even the helicopter crash in DC was a smaller commuter kind of airplane that it crashed into, 60 people. It's not these big 200, like on 9/11, that kind of stuff. Remote controlled planes into a building, that was a huge deal. You can't do that anymore, and I think this is just because the swamps are being drained. So what you have is this sabotage stuff. Something will fall off a plane, all this little stupid piddly stuff, okay? The mass shootings, there haven't been major ones because they're failed. They can't kill. They tried in Kansas City, even this guy in New York City. I mean, what the hell? I'm going to go over that some more, but what the hell? So tobacco swamp, and then there was one in Reno before that was failed because they only had 3 murders instead of 4, and then everybody ignored it. That didn't show up on my For You feed at all. There was a shooting that they're calling a mass shooting in Reno. Only 3 people died, and it wasn't tobacco swamp because it didn't show up on my For You feed. I didn't hear about it at all. I heard about it again somewhere else, like a week later or something. Maybe after they finally killed 4 people instead of minus the shooter, so it could count as a mass shooting. But they didn't even get the story right afterwards. Like it still wasn't tobacco swamp, because tobacco swamp, the thing that they do is, including the most important thing that tobacco swamp does is they control the narrative afterwards. Okay, and they didn't even get the shooter right. Like it was supposed to be a white MAGA guy. And then CNN reported it that way. And then all I got on my For You feed at X after that was, CNN reported it wrong. CNN reported it wrong. That's all I heard. It's like, I don't care. Who cares? Will you tell me about the shooter or supposed shooter? They didn't have any other information on my For You feed at X, except that CNN got it wrong. And they probably got it right. Or who knows who the shooter was. But the story was supposed to be, it was MAGA. It was a white guy. But then they go, oh no, the religion swamp paid for this one. It was religion and pharmaceutical. It was all the swamps except tobacco. It felt like everybody's in on this thing. Religion because they shot a guy named Islam, and then there was 2 Jewish women, and it was pharmaceutical because he was a medical guy. And then they were trying to go against Asians because he's half Asian, half black, and he wasn't the shooter, guys. Okay, it was who knows who the shooter really was, but they couldn't even get the story right afterwards. So tobacco wasn't involved too much. They're out of money, and they can't even. It's failed. Everything's failed. They're all failed attempts. I know. I hate saying that because 4 people did die, possibly. I have no idea anymore. I mean, he passed up. Anyway, it's hard. Anyway, so now you have this sabotage. So there's not going to be a big plane crash. There's not going to be a mass shooting. There's not going to be any more also pharmaceutical swamps. They keep trying to put up pandemics and panic everybody, and everybody's just ignoring them. oh, this is that, oh, the measles are coming, oh, this is coming. Everybody's just ignoring them, okay? So, because it takes a lot of money to run the propaganda for that stuff, and everybody's over it. So, the last one I'm going to say would be the religion swamp, and I'm going to say, what do I say? General Mills. So we're going to look at General Mills. That's a real stock. All right. So General Mills. So General Mills, they don't do their own, religion doesn't do its own tragedies and violence, but they do team up with other people, like Tobacco Swamp mostly. They'll team up with the Tobacco Swamp to do the mass shootings and make sure that the mass shooter is an Islamic extremist, or the mass shooting occurs at a religious school or a church. It's just religion, false flag attack, like, oh, they're attacking the church, oh, they're attacking this, or it's an Islamic guy who's crazy, whatever it is. That's Religion Swamp teaming up with Tobacco Swamp. They tried it on this one. Pharmaceutical Swamp tried it. I don't know. It just felt like, I don't know. Okay, yes, I do know. So now I wanted you to compare. So this is swamp. What happens with the you could tell the religion swamp. Okay, I'm just saying it looks like, I think General Mills is going to be fine, but I don't think it's ever going to go up like this much. And I don't think it's going to go up like any more like that. It's just going to follow this support line. It's going to be like Boeing and the rest of them. But in the meantime, you're getting all sorts of people having fits in Congress because they're not able to get their money from this stuff anymore. The swamps are done. But the reason I wanted to show, that's General Mills. I just wanted to show that versus, Killanova. Let's do K stock. That's another swamp stock. The cereal stocks, the snack stocks, and then also so this one is like, this one was going really bad. So these guys are, what happens here with these guys is they're like way below here, and then this is October of 2023 when you get Gaza and all this. Here's your money right here going to Gaza. It's going to keep Killanova up, and Killanova's going to tank pretty soon because they were sold. This is Kellogg's. They were tobacco. I figured out it was Religion Swamp from the movie Unfrosted. Okay. Anyway, and Pepsi. But anyway, what I wanted to say was, in the movie Unfrosted, Kellogg's, Pop-Tarts, they were the good guys, and the bad guys were Post. What was her name? Meriwether Post? I forget her name, but she was portrayed as an idiot and a stupid person, and she was actually a very bright woman but look at Post. Post is like the least swampy company of all. And they're like, and I'll show you what a good company looks like. Okay, look at this. They're just beautiful. Look at the stock. Now I just want you to, this is what a beautiful stock looks like. Okay, this is a non-swampy stock. Okay, this is Post all the way back 2000 whatever. But look at this. It's just so beautiful. It's not huge amounts of, selling going on. Oh, another thing that happened is, it's not big, like, this kind of stuff. But also here, if you look at the Dow, I think this is what's, I said a while ago, I said, you know what, after the 16th Amendment falls, the stock market, the stock market is it's gonna melt your face off. And I think it's already started with the Post. All right. Anyway, I show you guys what I do every day, but all right. So I predicted March 23rd, 2020, I said, this is the lowest Dow is going to be forever. And I posted that to Twitter. And at 11:45, because my lucky number is 11, and I thought at 45, and it was on March 23rd because that's my sister's birthday, and she died of early onset Alzheimer's because she took Xanax, and it was a pharmaceutical run kind of fake dip in the market. But you see, this is swampy here a little bit, and the Dow came down, and I always predicted it was going to come down here, but I also said after the 16th Amendment falls, it's going to melt your face off. And it looks like that's already happened even before all this tariff stuff. It looks like we don't have to wait for the 16th Amendment to fall. It looks like Trump is already on it. Like, you guys, this is like the new support line. If you want to see what the Dow is going to be doing, and it might even be, this is what it's following. Okay, so like, yeah, he's draining the swamps, the tariffs. I said the Dow was going to melt your face off after the 16th Amendment falls, but maybe it's starting to fall now with the tariffs and all the stuff he's working on. And then maybe even after, I mean, I'm just saying that's what that's looking like. And Post is kind of doing that. Actually, it is swampy here. This was the pharmaceutical swamp here. This is the religion swamp here. You could see that happening with some of the Dow stocks, but it's going to start to happen a lot less over time now. This was, yeah, anyway, okay. So when I look at Post, it's looking like Post is following that. Like, it's a legit company, and it looks like they came here, and now it looks like they're starting to melt our face off. Post is good. I just like Post. And then also, what is her name? Meredith Merriweather Post, whatever it was. She built Mar-a-Lago. So it's like, oh, Trump is the enemy, and Post is the enemy, and all this. And it turns out it's a pretty good company, I think. I don't think it's swampy at all. And of course, the movie Unfrosted, which was supported by the religion and the tobacco swamp because it had a ton of smoking in it, is Netflix freaking anyway. All right. So the whole reason I'm going over all this stuff is because I finally found. Oh, and also like let's show AT&T. This is for. WNBA security because they have like the AT&T logo and all this. AT&T is just the ugliest freaking. It should be going out of business. And what happened here in it's just ugly. But what happened here October? See that October 2023? That's when the attack in Gaza happened, and this is all Gaza money. Oh, we're sending $60 billion to Gaza. No, you're not. You're sending $60 billion to buy AT&T stock, which should be going out of business. Okay, so this is peaked up right here. They have a lot of money, but they're going to start. This is going to dive. T-Mobile should dive, and Verizon. All this freaking. So I'm saying the telecommunication stocks and also the breakfast cereal for some reason and snacks, Pepsi. Okay, so PepsiCo did the same thing. Very like right around here. It started to tank in October 2023, and then it just goes up. But now, all the money is going to like T-Mobile. I think they have more favored. You can't keep all the stocks up. All this money, and some of the stocks they're just going to have to go down. T-Mobile, that's the one. Okay, so look at this. October. Okay, so October 2023. Right here, November, October. Look at this. Wow, that's all. So when you see a little bit of a rise in some of these other religion swamp stocks, when the war first started, you have all this money that went to all the stocks, but now they're even running out of money there, and they're putting all their money into like T-Mobile. You could see, I mean, this is just crazy, okay? Because they're, and then it went down, and it's just going to keep going down. Okay, anyway, all right. So, also, I didn't say a video about this or even mention it. Stephen Colbert is gay, of the late night guys, and Seth Meyers is gay. And those two should go. It's just toxic. It's all this crap. And Jimmy Kimmel's not gay, but he was complicit in the murder of Kobe Bryant and Gigi. That whole thing was done so that when he gave the eulogy, everybody was very impressed. but it just kicked off a whole year of him bashing Trump and getting credit for it because he's Mr. Kobe, Kobe Bryant. It was just a fantastic eulogy, but it was planned ahead of time. Kobe's going to be killed. We're going to have Jimmy Kimmel do the eulogy, and then Jimmy Kimmel in that entire election year. Remember that? 2016 it was. And it didn't work. Trump won anyway, but fuck Jimmy Kimmel, suck a dick. So we're gonna do, and I remember that one video that was taken down. This part of the video is I say that in that video that YouTube took down before I was arrested in order to clear for my arrest. But yeah, these guys have to go, and I wanted to tell you out of those stocks. Let's do those real fast while we're here. So, Colbert would be Paramount, CBS, and I'm telling you that turned out to be today. It went down 6%. So they're trying to pretend like it's just looking beautiful though. What the frig? Okay. Okay. Well, this is news to me. So they're trying to raise money for their swamp activities. Oh Lord, let's just see. I just thought it's formed up. I was just gonna come up here and say it formed the bottom. Oh, that's so close. That's oversold. That's gonna bounce. I would buy, if you have $50 million, buy all Paramount stock right now. Because they hit a bottom a long time ago, and this right here is retaliation, and they're raising money for, what would this be? What are those guys? I guess, I don't know, all the swamps. But, there's gay Nazi purgings going on at all the companies right now. They have to. They just don't have a choice because they're very corrupt and you go bankrupt. You could either purge or go bankrupt. And look at Nike, all these guys. They're just, okay, so just firing Stephen Colbert was just, that was the biggest freaking yay. But this is like, they're trying to pretend like Paramount's going out of stock. I was going to come up here and say Paramount hit the bottom a year ago. They've been forming their stock has formed the bottom, and I was going to come in here and say I would start buying Paramount anytime. It might come down a little bit. I was going to say, like, you see this line I was doing? I said it might come down, but it could also take off like post. But now, you guys, look, okay, I'm glad I'm doing this now. Buy Paramount. It is the lowest it's going to be, and it's going to fry your face off. God, I wish I had money. Oh my God, 1104. This is going to be at 44 in another year. Like, it's going to buy Paramount now. Okay, this is going to bounce it's not going down anymore. This is a fake. It's the swamp. It's a retaliation for, and they don't know. They're selling whatever they have, and then once it's going to go up. This is great news. Buy Paramount. Okay. Okay. So, yes, Paramount stock. I didn't even see that. I just found out today. Because I've been trying to come over here and tell you forever. I've been trying to tell you as soon as they fired Colbert. What was that, 2 or 3 weeks ago? Actually, it was July. It was almost a month ago. They fired that asshole on the 17th, just before I ran into a trailer. Something like that. It was that week. Okay? Gay Nazi piece of asshole shit. Goodbye. And all the toxicity that goes with that. So good for Paramount. They are ahead of everybody. Now, I'm not saying and then Trump after that announced that Jimmy Kimmel was next, but Trump is working behind the scenes. Disney, okay, so let's do the Disney. This is, you guys, buy Paramount. Okay, screw all this other stuff. Just go buy Paramount because you're going to be rich. I mean, okay, it's just one of the few media swamp stock tutorial I've been doing. But okay, so let's see CM. Let's do my boost. Let's do my boo. Let's do Jimmy Kimmel. I like Jimmy Kimmel, but I mean, this is just. So last year at this time, I started, this looked so ugly to me. This is very swampy when it's a controlled buy and a controlled down, and then it fell below, and it just looked like the ugliest damn stock in history until last summer when I saw a support line forming right here. Okay, and I said, you know what, last summer right around here this time it started to go down, and I said, you know what, I said next April CMCSCA is going to go down to 33, around there. And if that support line holds, we're going to be okay. But if it breaks through, it's bye-bye birdie. And it broke through. I said if it falls below 33, and it's been there for a while, and I meant to come over here, but I meant to come tell my boo it's bad news. But maybe not, and I'll tell you why. Okay, first of all, okay, Jimmy Kimmel is fine. Like, he's the closest to Johnny Carson, yet he did make you do cigarette ads, girl. Remember those few times? So there is tobacco swamp still over there. And also CMCSA, I don't know what every indicator is. They haven't gotten rid of their, just so small. The indicators at your show. I'm using your show. I'm using Kelly's show, you guys, and it's just so bad. Like, it seems like they haven't even begun to purge their gay Nazis, because Kelly's show is like, they're just even these guys. I mean, so I don't know what's going on. But if Trump wants to save it, which he had a special place in his heart for NBC, because that's where he was, and he was screwed by some people over there, and if he gets rid of them, fine. I think he's going to keep it going. But because I'll tell you why. Because Disney is even uglier, and yet it looks like Trump. And also Disney is on the Dow. So, but Disney, it's the ugliest. Oh, they're down too. It is the ugliest freaking. I have never seen something more ugly in my life right now than this freaking stock. And I was saying, you guys are done. You're ugly. You went down. Oh my God. Like, check this out. I mean, just from looking at the stock, I don't know how to describe it. You guys, I don't have any formal training in anything. I just do these support line shit. But, and I interpret things as if everything above this line is swampy. And when they fell below the March 2020 lows, I always thought that was a sign that the company was going to go bankrupt. And I was saying this like way back in, this is what caused my YouTube channel, this was caused Twitter or YouTube to be completely suspended, was I said Disney, you're bye Disney. And then recently it was just going down. And then Trump kind of came in, I think, one day and decided to save it. I think Trump is going to try to save it. But right now they need to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel. And that's it. I mean, once they do that, and Trump said he would be next, but Trump makes deals, so you never know. If Trump is dealing with a company, this stuff goes out the window. So all of it. That's why I think Comcast has a chance, is because even though it broke through that line, and in my world, it's going bankrupt, Trump is wheeling and dealing behind the scenes. He's not going to let that fail. He's certainly not going to let Disney fail, but they're going to have to. They're going to have to pay attention and follow whatever he has in plan for them to purge the gay Nazis out. And Jimmy Kimmel's got to go. That's just horrible. Like, it costs a lot of money to put that unfunny garbage up, propaganda. So Jimmy Kimmel, and I think Jimmy Fallon is going to stay, because I just asked, come on, boss man. I like Jimmy Kimmel. He's like a good friend with Kelly, and he's the closest to Johnny Carson. He's the closest to Jay Leno as far as not doing the politics. He does it a little bit, and there was some tobacco stuff, but, I thought he was talented, and I don't know why, you guys, I get a certain vibe about a person, and it doesn't matter what they do almost. But I just have a good vibe about him. It's mostly like based on how they treat my boo. But not mostly, it's more than that. So I'm gonna say Fallon survives, Kimmel goes, Seth. Oh, that's the other thing oh God, that guy is horrible. Seth Meyers, what the frig? He's unfunny. He's so gay as far as snarky and I can't stand that. People can't stand that shit. And gay dude, it's very toxic. I probably. You could tell the toxic environment. And I know Kelly's show is toxic. It's so gay. It's so gay. I mean, not because of her, but in a way, possibly you have to. I mean, that's probably why she's just going to quit the show. She can't seem to clear out the fucking toxicity. Also, while we're here, like, for instance, one of the things I was saying was when I said these guys, Brett, when I said these people are security risks, I just mentioned 2 Bretts. And this was another one, and he didn't fight back at me or anything, but still, he came up recently. It shows up on my For You feed at X, and it's supposed to apparently give him credibility when it's just the opposite to me. It's like he was starting to get credibility for just not attacking me, and then all of a sudden he says, "Hey, look, I'm going to Australia now. I won this at the Kelly Clarkson show." It's just like, are you kidding me? Okay, this guy stuck his dick up somebody's ass over at the Kelly Clarkson show and got this I guess the whole audience got it, but he was invited that day knowing that he was, and this is what I'm talking about. They have access to the show, they have access to money, they have access to Kelly, is all these gay men. I mean, every time there's any kind of, for the longest time, they get to do it's gay men more than women on everything. It's supposed to be a show for women, and then they think, well, gay men count, and it's just incredible. And then people had this whole big thing about this one trans woman on the Kelly Clarkson show, and it's just like, what the frig? Get rid of the gays, get rid of the trans women, get rid of it all. Okay, seriously. All right, this is enough of this. Like, she just needs it's because it's not only just bad TV, it's for long haul, but it's a security risk at this point. So whatever, I just wanted to put this up here that this guy, I mentioned him as a security before. What was that? That was September. So this was September of last year. Oh, when he came up to the first show, whatever. But he won, and now he's going to Australia. It's because he's gay, and he stuck his dick up somebody's ass over there at Comcast. And that's it. So the whole reason I'm doing this, okay, bye Paris talk, but is, dear Wordle people, so remember when I said there was the defense contractor swamp, but the hardest thing was there was the Republican half, the GOP half of the defense contractor swamp, which is the war, and I also thought it was like Boeing, defense, and then I always thought it was also the oil companies too over there. But then I thought, what about the DNC half, the Democratic half of the defense contractor swamp, which is the global warming and the weather manipulation and making hurricanes, making the fires worse than they are, the way they did in Australia, this kind of stuff. I don't know what stocks those were. Like, I couldn't figure out a stock to follow that. And recently, I just thought, you know what it's going to be? I think it's not a particular airline, but the airline industry. And I found out, let's do the airline index. Okay. So they're first of all, very volatile. Very volatile. Airlines are the most volatile of all stocks. Like, you see these changes go up and down. Like, in one day, everything goes up by 4%, and the next day, down by 5%. You can make so much money if you know the exact day and that stuff. And then look at all the money. And then I found out that the airlines are heavily subsidized by government funds. Okay? But I did find a line, and it's looking like Boeing almost. Meaning, the swamps this is all government subsidized swamp. And then when you look at each individual airline, they're all over the map. Like, at least when you look at, breakfast cereals, or you look at pharmaceuticals, that you can almost see a trend in the industry. But but here it's almost like every congressperson has their special airline. Senator Schiff has United Airlines that he makes all his money off of. And then, it's so weird how the stocks are all over the place. But here, at least the index is looking like Boeing, where this is big stuff going on, and now boop, 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 boop. Like, to me, this stuff, this is what the airline index is going to do going forward, maybe even better, but it's going to be less swampy. It's going to be more predictable like this. Not these huge ups and downs with all of our subsidies. This is all subsidies going into the airlines, going back to Congress, is what I'm thinking. But also, the other thing is, it's also, when the airlines don't get what they want, they're going to start doing sabotaging. And this is where I'm thinking, all at once this happened. So, you guys remember, okay, so the Indiana Fever all of a sudden started doing Stranger Things. So, it was all Stranger Things. I said, "Oh my God, that's Netflix. That is usually a tobacco. It's tobacco. Everything smokes. Everybody, even Stranger Things, smoking. That whole thing. They even were almost canceled because they had so much smoking targeting kids in that series. But then I thought, and I was gonna have a fit because I was saying, "Oh my God, that's mass shooting stuff." But I didn't get a vibe on that. I said, "This is the weirdest thing, WNBA people. This is the weirdest thing." Is that you guys have Salesforce, that's one of your sponsors, and I always thought they were tobacco, and then now you're having Netflix, which I always thought was tobacco, and with this thing, and that you would think that I would be going off the charts with the mass shooting happening, and I go, I don't feel it. I don't feel like there's going to be a mass shooting. I have to drop everything and go watch... I have to go binge watch Stranger Things. So I'm binge, not talking to anybody, not looking online, binge. And then the very first couple of episodes of season 3 of Stranger Things, and I didn't get past that. I have to binge the rest of season 3 and season 4 soon. But like the first episode and the second episode, it was all Russia. 2019, Russia. Guess what that is? That is the Ukraine war. That is Russia is the GOP. It's the Republican half of the defense contractor swamp. Is Russia, and the war, the Ukraine war, all that stuff. Okay, so I'm thinking now when they did that, I thought, oh my God, the people who do the plane crashes. Okay, the people who do the plane crashes. Now, that's different from the airline. The airlines is global warming. It turns out it's very connected to global warming stuff as far as the money. Like, $60 billion went to the Paris Accord, and it goes straight into the airline stocks. That's where I believe that money's coming from. And that's to be differentiated from Boeing. It's not the same as the airlines. It does look like Boeing a little bit, but it actually does look like Boeing. But I'm going to separate them out because Boeing also participates in defense stuff. It's more with the oil stuff. So I'm going to follow the airline stuff. And maybe even, maybe it's the same. But anyway, so I'm thinking, Friday, I'm thinking, oh my God, there's going to be, it was Friday the 25th. When I saw this on, early in the morning, I'm watching this and I go, oh my God, I got to warn them. Or maybe it was at night, but I got to do a video warning the WNBA that there's going to be funny business involving one of their smaller planes with a WNBA team possibly crashing the entire team. Okay, and then after Saturday, I find out that Friday, the 25th, there was a near miss coming out of Burbank going to Las Vegas. And I thought there was a near miss, and it was Southwest Airlines, so I think Southwest is based in Dallas. Anyway, so I kind of had that vibe right away that there was going to be something funny going on with the airlines, and then there's a near miss. And it's a plane going to Vegas, and it wasn't an accident. That was on purpose, and I don't believe it was a miss. I don't believe they were trying to have an accident. I think they wanted to have a near miss. They were sending a message somewhere. They don't have enough money to do a full accident. And I mean, I'm talking off script people. Off-script people don't have enough money for that, or whatever it is. The scripted stuff, the big airline crashes, they can't do that anymore. There's no more of that stuff. So off-script people they don't have enough money to do something like that. So they would try something like this, and you need to investigate that stuff. So, yeah. And I wanted to say that we're looking out for religion swamp, maybe pilots with crosses and Christian pilots. Like my brother is a pilot for these smaller planes, and he's a great dude, but he's also very naive, and he's what I call a non-gay dumbass moron. I don't know, you guys. Just I'm gonna go more into this maybe, but I remember I said we're looking out for I think Trump might be on that too. So he might be on a lot of this stuff. So that's the latest thing. Is I think the airline. I'm looking at the airline index, and it's looking like they're also getting legitimate. Like all the swampy. This is not as swampy. A lot of the stocks are starting to look like that. But no. Okay, so what was I going to say? All right. So now that we're way into this, we're going to go way back over here. Okay, so let's go chronologically, and we're going to go back on to the main point of this whole thing is me being discredited. We did some stock stuff, and I'm showing you that everything's looking. I don't think there's going to be any more major stuff. And I'm trying to thwart little stuff, because I don't care if it's a major mass shooting or a little thing. They're still going after like my boo. They're still going after, I would say, Whitney Cummings or Sophie Cunningham, Asia Wilson, and Esther Perel. Mostly, it's all women who are now they're getting it, that it's the gay men. I meant to tell you, my own kids, I have a white non-gay son and a white non-gay daughter, and they have a gay baby daddy. They have a gay mother, but they have a gay father, openly gay, and they cannot recognize gay white men. Like, it's amazing. Their gaydar is just kaput. And it always shocked me, even at their school when they were younger, there was like a flaming gay teacher, and it was like, are you serious? No, he's not gay. And it's been like that for they don't. And even if you do the gay, they're defending, like they would be. My daughter is very just brilliant, freaking. She's just way ahead of where I was. But I think you have to. I think she would. And so when I have my little gay, not gay list, I'm trying, and when I opened every video saying, here's a video and this person's gay, I'm trying to teach people how to recognize gay, and it's just useless. And I almost gave up on life, because I thought, if I could just teach everybody who's gay, then world peace would come faster. No, because in another 100 years, if everything's going to settle to natural, and then they're going to come back, and then they're going to do another 16th Amendment thing, and it's just going to keep repeating. And I thought, what is the use? There is no inevitable world peace. But we aren't at an equilibrium as far as a natural enemy, not a natural enemy, but a natural check. And a natural check are lesbian women, if you can flip them. I think Rosie flipped. It's not even if you can flip them. They're just going to flip. It's just going to happen. It's just that they haven't been in power, and you haven't, like, they've been treated like shit by gay men forever. You could Dave Chappelle went over this, but it's like, yeah, when I have the list, I don't have to explain it. I don't have to put up a video and say this person's gay. I just have the list, and then a white lesbian female will just look at it and go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Or that, I don't have to. It's just stuff that's going to come naturally, but they have to be gay. Now, I used to think the gay white males would be the one who led this charge against the bad Nazis, but no, they're gay. They're always going to want somebody to put a non-gay man to put his penis up their anus, and that's always going to control them. Even they will throw everybody under the bus at a certain point, more than anything else. And so they're okay, but they can't be trusted long haul 100 years from now, whatever. We're just going to go back to where we are, because non-gay dumbass, and that's white. But then I thought, no, minorities too are really good. Like, minorities are always, I always trust them whenever I have like not a conspiracy theory, but if you say, yeah, that cop was corrupt, the black person would believe it immediately, because once you've been under that, once you've experienced it, you don't have to explain anything to them. Like, and you don't have, where if you try to explain something to a white person, non-gay person, like, oh, prove it, or this kind of thing. It's like, I don't, like my daughter's like, prove it all the time. It's like, no, if I did that, I'd be sitting. I did that for 8 years against Pfizer or whatever it was, and it still comes to nothing. Because when it's that corrupt, you just, okay. So there is hope, because I thought, okay, if we got Rosie O'Donnell to turn, which I think she did, and the next thing is if we can get black women to turn and say, look, it's not white people, it's not non-gay white people, it's white gay people. And I have a whole video on this, actually. It's Dave Chappelle. So it's black, once we get black women, though, the black dudes maybe know this a little bit more, but it's black women, and that's Asia Wilson. So I thought she smiled. I had a video and said, Asia smiled, all is well. I said, Rosie turned, Asia smiled, and I didn't realize, I think that meant that she turned. And then also, if we can get white Jewish women to turn. So I was going to come on here, I was going to criticize Stranger Things, because, Winona Ryder, Jewish actress lady, she was driving me crazy. The whole, she was driving me crazy with the overacting. It was almost like, I'm such a good mother that I'm going to scream and yell at every little thing about my son. And it's just like, it's just overdone and very gay. And I thought, and then I go and I look, and it's like, Winona Ryder hates Trump, all these Jewish women, Bette Midler, and oh my God, will you guys just stop it? Did my camera stop working? Are we still recording? Okay. I think my camera stopped working. All right, that's fine. So anyway, let's just go on. Anyway, I was going to come criticize her, but then I went online, and it turns out she's kind of maybe turning too. Like a lot of the Jews, I haven't seen them on my For You feed. I haven't seen anything from Barbara Streisand. I haven't seen anything from Bette Midler. I mean, maybe they're out of money, or maybe they're flipping as well. So once they flip, it's not going to flip back. I'm just saying, once you get these kind of women and you get lesbians going, it's not like 100 years from now, we're gonna go back, and the Nazi and the gay white men take over again. I'm just saying that this is going to be a natural check against the Nazis, and then we will have inevitable world peace. So that was good, and yeah, that's what I realized recently. But so anyway, I'm done doing the gay of the day thing, because I'm not going to try to teach people. I'm just going to do my list, and then once people see the list, they could either confirm it or not. But it's so so let's go chronologically. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if this is even recording. I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. You don't need to see my face. I don't know what happened with the camera. But, okay, so we're just going to talk. All right. Just go away. All right. Chronologically, we're going to go through what happened. And we're going to do our pattern of them trying to discredit me. Greatest fan of my life. So, July 7th, I post this thing. I still did not post the actual video here, that the incriminating one, the Walmart one, this one. I didn't post it because it has a lot of, it has a lot of F-bombs. It has a lot of the word buttfucker in it a lot. And I had to go through, I thought, well, if I do post it, I'm going to go through and, put other words into those places. That's going to take a while. I don't want to do that right now. Well, I did later. But anyway, I didn't post it. But it was that video that really caused a lot of stuff, a lot of problems. So... oh my God. let's just stop this. I'm just gonna stop.